Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. For my continued followers, I want to thank you. And I got a disturbing story that's coming straight out of Wichita, Kansas. The Wichita police is investigating the death of 14-year-old Claude Hodges Jr. Police said in a statement it is believed he was shot and killed by his own mother. 43-year-old woman. SWAT officers then shot her after negotiations failed to get her to disarm herself. It all started Sunday night around 6 p.m. in the 8400 block of West Central near Tyler, where Wichita police officers were sent to check on the welfare of a man's son. Police said after a call from Hodges' father, Claude Hodges Sr., who said he was supposed to meet his son at an exchange point but hadn't been able to reach him. Police say they knocked and called multiple times but didn't get any response. That's when they noticed a bullet hole in the apartment wall and a used bullet on the ground. After officers got into the apartment, they said they found Hodges' mother allegedly holding a gun and standing next to a shotgun. That's when officers say they left the unit and called in SWAT to start negotiations. We have negotiations that were communicating with her by telephone. And because she was standing in the doorway, they were loud verbal commands communicated over a PA system so she could hear what she needed to do to comply with their commands. So there were layers and aspects of it, said Captain Ronald Hunt. The negotiations lasted for 5 hours. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation says a tactical team were called to the apartment around 9:45 p.m. Numerous attempts were made to get the woman to drop her gun. After the woman refused, the police say SWAT officials fired 2 shots, hitting the woman. This happened around 1:40 a.m. The woman was transported to the hospital where she expected to survive. Police found Claude Hodges Jr. dead in the bathroom with a gunshot wound to his upper body. His mother was 43-year-old Kylee Hodges. And I talk about this all the time, about all the disruption and chaos that is happening throughout our cities and our communities, especially in the urban market. But there is tons of chaos that is happening inside many of our homes in America. The American dream is turning into the American nightmare, and many people are suffering each and every day. I also talk about how you don't ask God what family you get to be born into. It just happens for you. And if they don't love you, then you shouldn't love them back. And love is an action and a verb. And so if love is not displayed to you physically, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, then you should remove yourself from the situation. And I don't care if it's your mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, grandmother, grandfather. We are in very, very disturbing times. I talked about the Tinley Park murder, where a husband, an Arab American husband, killed his wife and his 3 lovely daughters in the south suburbs of Chicago. And there was another recent incident in Joliet, Illinois, where a young man in his early 20s killed 9 members of his family, including his mother, sisters, uncle, and brother. We are getting to a place where we can't figure out or separate ourselves from who is a stranger, who is danger, and who is a friend. And the line between life and death has gotten so small that the lines have become blurred. And this is a disturbing trend that's taking place. And this is why I do some of these videos. Conflict mediation, conflict resolution, kids wanting to go to school and even go into college, graduate from college and get a traditional job or degree is going out the window. Everybody wants to chase the bag by any means necessary, no matter how denigrating it is morally or ethically. And now we have a circumstance where a mother, African-American mother, murdered and killed her own son over a custody battle. She probably was mad at the son's father, and then she takes it out on the son to hurt the father. And the son had nothing to do with the circumstance of him being born to Mr. Hodges, let alone Mrs. Hodges. But he ended up being the gavel and being murdered as a circumstance between two adults having conflict. And his own mother killed him and murdered him. The level of humanity that we have in today's time is diminishing by every second and every moment of each and every day. And we are having civil unrest. There is a public safety issue. And now there are more harmful things taking place inside the home than outside the home. This situation that took place in Wichita, Kansas, where Miss Kylee Hodges killed her own son, shot him, is a very depressing and sad commentary. And these storylines need to be told and spoken on social media and on the national media. And we need to have a reverberation to where if people are suffering from mental illness, joblessness, opioid crisis, to find and seek help through our social services component in America. Mental illness is a real deal. Even though you can't see it on an x-ray, it is there and it is vibrant all throughout many people in this country that are suffering. And for 14-year-old Craig Hodges Jr. to be murdered by his own mother, it doesn't get any more disgraceful and inhumane than that. And we need a wake-up call to start loving each other, which is an action and a verb, and understanding that we are human beings and circumstances that take place should not be a measure or a second between life and death. There has to be some kind of conscious and cerebral understanding to have a conflict, remove yourself from the situation, and move on with your life. And as a result of this situation in Wichita, Miss Kylee Hodges ended the life of her own son as a result for her hatred for Claude Hodges Jr.'s father, Claude Hodges Sr. And everybody suffers in this circumstance. Claude Hodges Sr. will never be the same, and Kylee Hodges will be charged with murder and will be convicted and spend the rest of her life in prison. And who wins in that circumstance? We have to find better solutions and resolutions for uncomfortable situations that present themselves in our lives. And we have to be mature adults and navigate our way through this life in some kind of positive, God-fearing, and righteous way. Thank you for listening to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.